We join Beast in Rutland, Vermont as a car comes barreling down the road towards him. Bounding past the vehicle, he rushes into the woods. Shortly afterwards, he reaches his disguise and, donning it, goes through the brush to meet the mystery woman who ended up being none other than Vera, as she asks if he's seen any cars that they could get a ride from, and he mentions the vehicle he recently caused to stop. Together, they head to the stopped car where he asks the people for a ride when one of them mentions that he looks familiar. Giving his name, the man invites him to join them on the ride, and as they leave, a portal opens above the road and a familiar figure falls through. The Juggernaut has managed to find a way out of the crimson cosmos that he was trapped in. Ecstatic that he's finally free, he vows revenge on its enemies when the portal begins to suck him back in, and he grabs hold of a nearby tree to prevent being pulled back through. It's a futile gesture, though, as the tree uproots itself with him, and he's drawn back into the crimson cosmos. Surrounded by darkness, he hears a voice talking of how he was sent to Nightmare's realm after his defeat from the X-Men, and then thrown into the crimson dimension by the cosmic being Eternity. It's there he's dwelled as the magical energies to the realm coalesce due to the mystical nature of Halloween, and he's drawn more strongly to Rutland as midnight grows closer. Turning back to Hank, they arrive in the city proper where the occupants of the car spill out, and thanking them for the ride, they head into the town where he wants to eat and check out the local parade, but Vera insists on getting to Canada within the week, as he recalls her saying that the world would end if they don't. Knowing that she wants to be inconspicuous, he's curious about who they're going to see, and telling him that she needs a scientist specializing in mutations, such as him, that he'll need to trust her. As they head through the festival, they come across the same people who gave them a ride when he sees one of the women look behind him with surprise on her face. Turning around, he witnesses the arrival of the Juggernaut through the magical portal. Ripping through the parade, he screams about the voice telling him to hate his enemies and that he can feel the beast nearby as he tears apart the floats. Before he can cause too much damage, though, he is once again whisked back into the dimensional gate, though he knows that soon enough he'll be back. Vera jokes of it being part of the parade as Hank assures her it wasn't when one of the teens with Hank notices that a woman named Glynis is missing. Hoping that she's alright, Hank insists that Vera heads back to the hotel, and when she's gone, ditches his disguise, allowing him to move freely amongst the other costumed individuals as he begins hunting for the Juggernaut. Not finding him in town, Beast heads out into the countryside, but still sees no signs of his quarry. Suddenly, before him, the Juggernaut emerges from the portal, and moving quick, Beast tosses a rock at him, but it does nothing as his opponent charges forward, only to knock the hero back. Narrowly dodging the next strike, he dashes behind Kane and begins to rip his helmet off, but being aware of his weakness, the Juggernaut immediately charges towards the base of a tree, causing it to break backwards and hit Beast. Recovering quickly, though, Beast knows he must stop treating his enemy lightly. Knowing he can't take him head on, Hank rushes away, and figuring he must outsmart Marco, rushes towards a nearby dam. Leaping, he knows that unless he's serious, he'll end up being killed, as he hopes by putting the electrical building between him and the Juggernaut, it'll slow him down. However, Marco breaks through as though it's not even there, leaving Beast with no choice but to dive into the waters. He spots the villain following him, though, and is dismayed as he hoped he would be too heavy to swim. Forced to double back towards land with Juggernaut almost on top of him, he notes how his new body's fur absorbs the water, slowing him down, which he can't afford in this fight. The villain catches up, though, and attacks from behind, knocking him into the rocks below while bellowing about how he'll never tire, unlike Beast. Jumping down after him, Beast narrowly dodges being crushed when Kane loses his footing, and taking advantage of the situation, Beast hurries away from the fight as he gathers up his disguise so that he can hide at a nearby party. Minutes later, he arrives at the house and begins walking among the partygoers, glad for a chance to stop and think, when he sees the wall fracture, and seconds later, the Juggernaut crashes through, yelling that he warned Hank that he could follow him anywhere. Rushing away from the crowd, Hank worries that he might not be able to win the fight, but he vows not to give up when, as he reaches the top of the stairs, finds a dead end. As Juggernaut catches up to him, he mocks Hank upon seeing him cowering on the floor, telling him to turn around and face him. As he does so, Hank slowly grabs his mask, and upon turning around, rips it off, revealing his true face to his adversary, and he launches himself upon Kane Marco, who pauses for a moment in horror upon seeing the transformation, which Beast takes advantage of, managing to grab the helmet and knocking his enemy back. Falling down the stairs, the clock strikes midnight as Juggernaut yells that he's been doomed. Dashing down the stairs after him, Beast gives chase but is slowed when Kane knocks an umbrella stand into him. Rushing to a car outside so that he can escape, it's unable to start for him when he looks and sees Beast barreling towards him and knocking him out of the vehicle. Dodging back, Hank mocks Kane for being slow without his magic and dashes in for a quick punch, yelling that a human is too slow against him. Continuing his assault and telling him that he didn't want to fight him, he suddenly stops when he sees that something in Juggernaut has changed upon getting a good look at his face. Kane has aged into an old man due to his time in the other dimension, kept young only by his hate, and a portal opens behind him when he accepts that upon returning, he'll finish aging and die. As Beast watches, he feels alone even with the others around him as he heads away from everyone to wait until the dawn of a new day alone.